This is probably the stupidest fly I've ever seen. But if I hadn't been outfished by this very badly one day, we would never have to show you this pattern. It's Curtis's dubbing emerger.
Fly, fish, food.
This fly is the dumbest fly I've ever seen. Alright, many years ago, Curtis and I were fishing, and he started putting the hurt on the fish. And so I was asking him what he was using, and he kept telling me that it was a Barr Emerger. Well, I tied on my best Barr's Emerger. It was a perfect copy of one that old John Barr himself would have tied. And I fished it, and nothing. So finally, at the end of the day, I see the fly that Curtis called the Barr's Emerger, and it was basically 2 colors of dubbing on a hook. We did a video on this a while back, but it's a deadly fly during a Baetis hatch. And so I'm going to tie one that's very simple out of wee wool. This is a really cool material. I'll show you how to make a very simple Baetis fly that even Curtis catches fish with. Alright, so I've got a little glass bead on a TMCO 2488, and I'm using 18-aught nano silk with this, so I'm going to really tie down several wraps of thread because it's a slippery thread. And for the body, I'm going to just use the olive dun color of wee wool, and you can use all different shades of olive for this. And I'll tie that in right here by the bead, and I'll just wrap that down. And then wrap my thread back up to about right here, and that's what the body will be. So as you can see, as I wrap this wee wool, it looks like a nicely, just like a micro buggy body. It's a cool material. So I'll tie that off, and then for my thorax, it's going to be, you guessed it, more wee wool. So I'm going to tie this in a little differently. I'm going to tie this in right here behind the bead, and then I'm going to grab both of these fibers and pull them back and wrap a little bit of a thorax length back and then come forward. The longer of the 2 fibers, I'll take that and wrap that as the thorax. 3 turns, looks like it's all it's going to take. I'll cut that off, and now I'm going to take this extra piece, going to wiggle it back and forth and turn that into a little wing case. So not a huge difference, it just adds a little element of a bump there. Alright, so that is it. That's Curtis's dubbing emerger that I so defiantly tied with yarn instead of dubbing. So I'll just take a little tiny bit of zap and I'll put that on the thread, and there you go, Curtis's dubbing emerger.